מה? אני יכול לוודא ניטרול, אני אשים אותו בכוונת. איפה אתה רואה אותו? יש אותו בכוונת. תעלי, תעלי. מאיפה אתה מזהה? מאיפה אתה רואה אותו?
En fait, il les ramène à la maintenance, en fait, ils doivent les faire tourner un peu, donc le voyer les outils.
At 10 o'clock, she called us and said, "Mommy, we were bombed. They shot at us. The car was shot. We cannot drive. Everybody here is hurt." There were 4 kids in the kids. They were 23, 25, 30. Everybody was shot. They were bleeding. And she was talking to me and said, "Mommy, help us. We don't know what to do." And I'm on the phone with her. And I'm saying, "Mommy, we love you, it's okay. We're trying to find a way to take you out of there. We are sending people," and I know I'm lying because I don't have answers, and we didn't have any answer. Nobody had.
if any leaders in the world that maybe see this TV, maybe they see this news, and they hear all these terrible stories, please involve. Please, it's a human. It's not about politics, it's not about all kind of issues. It's not Arabic and Israelis and Jews. It's really about humanity. The kids are there. Its civils are there. Please help them to come out. Please.
בקשה קונקרטית שאתם עכשיו מציפים לגל הירש או לממשלת ישראל.
דברו איתנו, פשוט שידברו איתנו. אף אחד לא נותן תשובות.
Israel suffered an unprecedented attack, and the number of casualties is catastrophic, truly unfathomable. Over the past 2 days, following Hamas's surprise attack on Israel, my country has suffered hundreds of fatalities. Yesterday, in the early morning of the Jewish Sabbath, and on a Jewish holiday, savage Hamas terrorists fired thousands of rockets into Israel. But this was only the beginning. Ruthless terrorists gunned down innocent Israeli civilians in the streets, murdering anything that moved, anything. I'll show you just one example. Just look at this photo of bodies of women strewn in the street, in a bus stop. Innocents murdered in cold blood. These animal-like terrorists broke into homes, gathered entire families into rooms, and shot them point blank, as if they were stomping on insects. Grandparents and the elderly, among them Holocaust survivors who endured the Nazis, were violently dragged from their homes, this time by Hamas, and taken into Gaza. Hundreds were butchered, their bodies mutilated and defiled. And those who survived were taken to Gaza. Listen to this young girl screaming as she is kidnapped, separated from her friend, not knowing what fate awaits her. Try to comprehend the magnitude of this situation. Try to digest the ruthless inhumanity. I have seen shocking footage, graphic images that will forever be seared in my brain. This is Israel's 9/11. This is Israel's 9/11. And Israel will do everything to bring our sons and daughters back home. These images are horrifying. They are hard to see, and they are impossible to fully internalize. But I'm showing you all of this for a reason. Today, many members of the international community are supporting Israel, yes. But if history has taught us anything, we know that tomorrow that may not be the case. The international community, and particularly the UN and the Security Council, have a very short memory when it comes to Israel. The terror that we endure quickly becomes a side note. But this time will not be the same. We will not let the world forget the atrocities our country suffered. And this is precisely why this atrocity is Israel's 9/11. From now, nothing will be as it was. I promise you. Today, we are shattering the paradigm. We are changing the equation. for 17 years since Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza. And since Hamas came to power, the world has tried to reason with these terrorists, barbaric terrorists. The international community sought to rehabilitate Gaza, giving tens of billions of dollars in aid. Friends, these funds did not go to building schools or hospitals. It was exploited only for terror.
How did the meeting go? I mean, did you hear the condemnations that you said you were going in there to hear?
Well, again, I don't want to get into what was really discussed in the briefing, but there were a good number of countries that condemned the Hamas attacks. They're obviously not all. I don't really want to get into that. I think you could probably figure out one of them without me saying anything. Look, the situation is still fluid and very dangerous. And we've got to, we're working hard, as I know other countries in the region are, to try to prevent this conflict from spreading. So, yeah, it's a very difficult time. Our thoughts are with, obviously, the government and the people of Israel right now. It's just a very tragic situation. It's ongoing, as I said. And it's important that the global community strongly condemn this unprovoked invasion and the terrorist attacks and activities that have taken place and are taking place.
And of the Palestinians?
Until they end this violent terrorist activity against the Israeli people. We condemn civilians who are hurt or killed anywhere in the world. That goes without saying. What's important now is that the international community needs to show its solidarity with Israel. We have Israel's back fully as the United States. And the condemnation of Hamas needs to continue until they end this violent terrorist activity against the Israeli people.
Get all of the key players involved in trying to get.
President Biden said, I think, very clearly today, we will support Israel. We will help them in carrying out their inalienable right to their self-defense. Not just on civilians right in that immediate area, but in the region. This conflict could grow. This conflict could grow, and we don't want to see that happen. And obviously our thoughts are with all civilians that are hurt. But what we need to focus on is this ongoing terrorist violence being committed by Hamas.
And civilians who've also been killed?
But look, we condemn civilians do that. Thanks, everybody. I got to get going. Thanks.
Situation is stark, and the council members are highly concerned, but we understand that right now we're in a very dynamic situation and a complex situation and in a state of flux, and that all council members have to use both their international but also their bilateral channels to try and call for calm and de-escalation with a focus and a priority around the protection of civilians on both sides.
Ambassador.
I would say the UAE is using its relationships with all sides to try and call for calm and de-escalation. Our president, as you will see on our websites today, has had numerous calls with world leaders, regional leaders, including the Israelis, to call for calm and de-escalation, and we'll continue to do what we can. But I think there are other regional players, of course, who have important roles to play in this regard, and what we need to lead to right now is a ceasefire, an end to the violence, and the resumption of negotiations down the line. But we're not at that state yet, as you can imagine.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Really important is to prevent the further escalation of the situation and further casualties of civilians, and also what's also important is really to come back to the two-state solution and the peace process.
Do you expect, and just to be clear, China does condemn it. To be clear, China does condemn it.
We condemn all attacks against the civilians.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're here as part of the Palestinian diaspora, and we want to show the world that when Palestine rises up in resistance, the diaspora rises with it. You know, we are an interconnected movement, and you know, we are here to show solidarity with our people in Palestine and to say that Palestinians have a right to resist. They have a right to resist under international law their occupation, and we've been suffering for 75 years at the hands of a regime that is, you know, founded on ethnic cleansing, founded on violence, and has been, you know, erasing and displacing our people for decades now. I mean, I think this attack was instigated by 75 years of brutal settler colonialism at the hands of the Israeli regime. It's a regime that is expanding in real time. They are ethnically cleansing Palestinian homes, villages, towns, in neighborhoods of Jerusalem like Sheikh Jarrah, in villages like Al-Huwara. These are villages where settlers, backed by the Israeli occupation forces, have gone on and killed Palestinians extrajudicially with impunity, and it's something that's happening even this week, right? This is what has instigated, you know, our being here is standing against this erasure and standing in solidarity with the Palestinians who resist legally and lawfully against this.
What's up? Yo, you know what's up? Hey, get out, get out. Who do you think you are? Yo, get out.
This is a human response to the absolutely horrendous conditions that Israeli occupation has been putting Palestinians through.
Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
Police departments, including here in Atlanta. The Gili program works primarily with Israel. That works here.
Day in and day out, Palestinians are harassed by Israeli settlers, not just the government. It's on all fronts, on all forms of life, of living. Palestinians day in and day out are facing aggression, are facing threats to their livelihood.
No peace on stolen land.
No peace on stolen land.
Thank you.
I'm heartbroken. This is a shock. I'm in pain. My heart is with my friends, my family, my brothers and sisters in Israel. I also feel helpless. I wish there was more I could do to support them.
Israel, you can't hide. We charge you with